Howdy YouTube world, Mohawk Manny here. Got something cool, man. Recently I appeared on Jubilee's Ask Me Anything, Ask a Billionaire Anything, and I just wanted to rewatch it with you guys and give my honest opinion on my questions. I wish I could do a little bit more for everybody, but I'll get right to it.
Today, I think we've all sat here and we've heard you talk about your jet and Maui and your 3 homes and the money that sits in your account that you don't care to touch. What stops you from helping every person in this room that's struggling right now? How do you help them? What do you do? Because you got a private jet, but I had to take off from work today and I'm struggling. I got bills, man.
I like that. I like how they started off the video with me. That was cool. So obviously I'm not stupid. I know that was going to be a really big point that was talked about. Obviously it was my question. So obviously, I understand why they started off. It was like the big moment. All right, well, I'm going to be jumping around a little bit here. But the experience as a whole was really fun. It was super cool to be able to get with the Jubilee crew. So it was awesome. Here's
Cause you have all this money in the bank, but it doesn't really change what you do day to day.
My question for you is, what stops you from using your wealth to change somebody's life?
Nothing. Listen, I live 3 places. I live in Florida, I live in Maui, Hawaii, and I live in New Hampshire. But I've taken my wealth and done certain things, like in Florida where I live.
So he's going to talk about how he helped bring up the minimum wage. That's awesome. That's cool. My main thing with John is I don't think that he's a bad person who he is, but one of the things was, my question was, what stops you from using your wealth to change someone's life? And he kind of responds with like telling me, I have all these houses and these different places, and then he goes on to tell a story about how he has impacted people's lives and things like that.
I ran a constitutional.
I'm gonna be jumping around a little bit here. And then this is our solo little interviews.
It was like they're out there on the street in the heat. I don't know what they're doing out there, but you know what? It's not my job to judge.
I feel like a lot of billionaires, they say the same thing. They say they do donate and they do give to people. You give to organizations and large conglomerates that take your money and they break it up and they throw it around. If you're not handing something down to help somebody who really needs it, what does it matter?
You're in the law field and that.
So it helps people, which, like, at the time, one of the things I want to preface is, like, it's not like they give us a script. It's like, hey, here's the questions, and that was one of the questions that I had asked in the audition kind of situation. So, like, obviously at the time, I didn't know what I wanted to ask. I didn't know who I was going to ask. I just knew that was one of the questions that for me sat kind of on my chest in terms of like, hey, what would you ask a billionaire? That's what I would ask. I'd ask, what stops you from using your wealth? We're going to go to the next part. It sucks. I really want to talk about everyone's questions because there were some really good ones, but they didn't really get any attention. Jacob, shout out to Jacob. A lot of people don't like him either, which, I mean, I get it. You're allowed to have an opinion, so it is what it is. It's funny because my question was like toward the very end, and they kind of they threw it out in the beginning, and then they jumped back to the beginning. But mine was like, I wasn't the last one, but I was among some of the last ones. There's so many good ones, man. It sucks, but I'd love to do a video about the rest. So here's kind of the part that I think has got most people talking.
Homes and the money that sits in your account that you don't care to touch. I think we all have experienced at some point in time that moment that you talked about as a kid, sitting there hoping and praying that somebody would help you. So I guess my question that you didn't really answer, you just told me how much you have. What stops you from helping every person in this room that's struggling right now, that can't pay a bill, had to miss out on work? How do you help them? What do you do? Because you got a private jet, but I had to take off from work today and I'm struggling. I got bills, man. And I'm not begging for money, but I'm saying, what stops you from being able to go and help us and change our lives? Because
let me give you 100 while we're here.
thank you.
Yeah.
Don't buy marijuana.
No, I don't smoke.
At
I
the
don't
middle
drink.
school.
No, man.
Nothing stops me. Listen, here's how
Then,
I look at it. I went to a religious
And he goes on. He actually makes a really good quote, which I think is cool.
retreat one time under duress. It was called a Crescio. And I thought it was going to be a bunch of bullshit, and it was basically a bunch of bullshit. But at the very end, it all came down to one thing that I took from that meeting. And here's what I took. I can't change the whole world. I would love to be able to. But the phrase that I took from that Crescio weekend was, bloom where you're planted. What does that mean?
I just want to leave that part in because I like that. Bloom where you're planted. Yeah, so there you go. That was pretty much all I really did. I had that one question, and no, it was super cool. Everyone that I got to meet there was really awesome. There were some really good questions, and some of the people, they didn't get their questions put into the video, but they had really good questions. A lot of them, you know, were super cool. Mine was like probably the least, I guess, like intellectual, because mine was like, oh, just feelings, personal. But outside of that, it was really fun. The video was super cool, you know, and like I said, I don't know John personally, so I can't tell you if he's a cool guy or not. But what I can say, it was really fun. Video was awesome, and obviously this is coming out a couple days after the video drops, and I'm more than likely gonna make another video just talking about the response that I've received in the video, which is super cool, super awesome. Yeah, so just wanted to get this part out of it though, just a initial reaction and be like, oh my gosh, this was such a cool experience, because it was awesome. But yeah, some more to come. We're gonna have to maybe do a second video. I wish like I could go through and talk about everyone's questions, but I did not expect the response that I got, so I'm gonna have to do another video. But yeah, until next time, what up?